In this segment, we will take a look at the far-reaching effects the discovery of America had on Europe, and eventually the world. The discovery of America by European explorers had a profound and far-reaching impact on Europe and eventually the entire world. This momentous event led to significant changes in the economic, demographic, technological, and geopolitical landscape of the time. I want to avoid any suspicion that by using the term discovery, I am dismissing the fact that there were millions of natives in America at the time of the encounter between Europeans and the Americas. The natives knew they were here, but they didn't know they were in America because it didn't exist yet, and they didn't know anything about Europe or the Europeans. So, while the Europeans were discovering America and Americans were discovering Europe and Europeans. There was indeed much discovering taking place. During the Middle Ages, Europe's economy was predominantly subsistence-based, requiring each individual to contribute just enough for the community to survive. Additionally, Europe's population remained relatively stagnant throughout the Middle Ages, primarily due to the inability to produce sufficient food. Periods of good harvests followed by famines kept the population size in check. The introduction of new crops from the Americas, such as the potato, played an unanticipated yet crucial role in changing this dynamic. The potato, often overlooked in its historical significance, was instrumental in boosting Europe's food supply, thereby supporting a growth in population that would continue into the 20th century. The Americas became a source of valuable resources for Europe. The extraction of silver from regions like Mexico and Peru by the Spanish significantly enriched the Spanish Empire. This influx of wealth was not limited to Spain. Other European powers like the British, French, and Dutch also partook in the exploitation of American resources. This newfound wealth led to a unique problem for Europeans: an excess of cash. Wealthy individuals, including plantation owners in America, returned to Europe and began purchasing land and titles, investing in arts, and gaining influence in royal courts. However, even after acquiring vast estates and luxuries, they still possessed surplus capital. This surplus capital eventually found its way into technological investments, particularly in the development of machinery that would enhance production efficiency. The most notable invention in this regard was the steam engine, which played a foundational role in both the Industrial Revolution and the Transportation Revolution. The steam engine was a revolutionary invention that brought about profound changes in manufacturing and transportation. Here, we will consider what is called the Transportation Revolution. In a later segment, we will talk about manufacturing. The advent of steam trains and steamboats increased the speed of travel from about 3 miles per hour to approximately 25 miles per hour. This increase in speed effectively made the world smaller, as it allowed for quicker movement of people and goods. One significant effect of this was it made it possible for Europeans to project their power to regions like East Asia that had once been too distant for effective exploitation. In American history, the contrast between the Lewis and Clark expedition, 1803, and the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, 1865, starkly illustrates this transformation. Lewis and Clark's journey from Pittsburgh to the West Coast and back to Louisville took 18 months. The year 1865 marked the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, making it possible to travel from coast to coast in just 2 weeks. This rapid connectivity was significant in the settlement and development of the North American continent. When Jefferson purchased Louisiana in 1803, he thought it would take 1,000 years to settle. As we'll see in our course, the frontier was declared closed in 1890, less than a century later. Please proceed to answer the questions in the assignment on Canvas. If you have any questions, you can post them in the open forum discussion or contact the professor using Canvas email.